You're feeling optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic for it. I think we're at least 50 years away from it.
Oh, wow. Really? You think 50 years?
From it, yeah. I don't think sentience is like...
Listen, I appreciate your optimism. I think it's valuable.
I think 25 at a minimum.
I think we need it. I think in 5 years,
we'll get robot soldiers.
I don't know about robot soldiers. I honestly do think in this particular case, I think the physical aspects of like robotics and all of that, I think that's actually going to take more time to sort out than the AI human like component of it. I think we'll have that way before we have just like humanoid robots. But I think in 5 years, I think that the world as we know it will be relatively upside down. Episode 82. The Glenlivet 12 Illicit Still. Now, you bought this bottle specifically for Isaiah's birthday.
He's not here.
And he's not here. So we're gonna we'll drink this in honor of
him.
Yeah, of course. He's at the Orioles game. Having a great time.
R.I.P.
I'm
Rage
sure.
in peace.
Yeah. So Illicit Still. Sorry. Let's see if there's any notes on why this is called the Illicit Still. Did you get any information about this bottle while you were there? There's nothing on the bottle. So
well, a little backstory.
Do tell.
My birthday was yesterday. Isaiah and I we're 1 day apart.
That's right. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. We're 14 years and 1 day apart.
Very good.
And so I've been on my cousin. Actually, it's Isaiah and my cousin, DJ, gave me a nice bottle of Glenlivet on Saturday when I was playing poker. I'm an avid poker player, if you know me. And we drank a nice bottle of that while we were playing. I was like, man, I really enjoy this, right? So actually the day before, my wife gave me a Glenlivet, 18 for my birthday.
Got the year of Glenlivet.
Right. And then I got, we had the base level Glenlivet. So over the weekend on Sunday, I got the Glenlivet 12, the regular 12. Yeah. And just had that. I still have it at home. Was just kind of sipping on that. So I've really been in like my Scotch whiskey kind of phase right now.
Your era.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I hadn't seen this in stores yet. So I was like, let me grab this one. It was my birthday. We were doing the show and he doesn't show up. So.
Sure. Of course. Classic. Perhaps Josh can pull up a couple of tasting notes on this, but on the bottle it does say that this limited edition is inspired by our founder's original and illegally distilled Glenlivet whiskey. Something of an homage there, which is kind of fun. So we'll get into it. Nice little bottle. Some gold and turquoise accents on there, so it kind of stands out. Oh my God.
Ooh,
what was that?
This bottle is active.
Oh, real interesting. All right. We'll pass that around, and it's very, you can hear it.
It's very,
it talks to you on the way out.
I'm not mad at that.
It's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. All right, so cheers, buddy. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Josh.
Now, before we get too far into this week's show notes,
smells great.
Yeah, that's Scotch for you. Little chatter last week in the chats, in the comment section. People did not care for my takes on the Kendrick Drake situation.
In the comments of the last video?
Yeah.
I saw the first few, but I didn't go back and look.
There were only a few.
Okay.
You don't have to go back and look. But
they didn't like your takes?
I don't think so.
What
I think that it came off, last week's episode came off that I was kind of downplaying Kendrick. I wasn't really giving him perhaps the credit that he deserved. #1 song and all. Right. So anyway, to be fair, I went back and I spent some time with that song. I listened through it a few times. Yes, I did.
It's not a bad song.
I listened through it a few times, and I'm here to say I'm going to go ahead and double down on my take from last week.
Good for you.
Here's the thing. I think that it's, to be fair, and I'm going to a quick 60 seconds on this.
Yeah.
Kendrick, I think, wins. Lyrically, it's a better song. It's a more, it's more complex and interesting from the writing perspective. I don't think that the music is anything special. I don't think
The
the
Not
production.
Like Us song?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I don't think the production is anything special, or the music for that matter. I feel the same way about the Drake tracks, so it's just not like I have a preference here kind of thing. I don't think it's all that remarkable of a song beyond some of the writing being very clever. And I think that if you remove the Drake
That's the main component.
battle context, if you strip that away from the song, and if it was about anything else, I don't think that it would be the number one song in the country or on the charts. I don't think it would be a massive hit. I think it would have been
Just a song.
just a song. But I guess as far as a diss track is concerned, I think that again, it wins. It's the better of
It is
the
what
diss
it
tracks.
is.
Anyway.
I mean, we know how comments work. It's either people praising us or they hate us.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't know. You can't listen to it and go, yes, this beat, yes, it's so good. It's not that great. All right, moving on. So
I feed on your anger.
get into it, dude. All right, so very good. On this week's show notes, the first thing, which I thought was very fun, we're going back to the Titanic, guys.
We are.
Ohio billionaire is going to take his own submersible
guys.
to the wreckage.
Didn't we just
It's
see
true.
what happened
It's true.
last year?
It's happening. Now, to be fair, the article is a touch misleading, or at least a few of the articles that I read. This guy is not building his own submersible.
Good for
This
him.
isn't experimental. It's from, I believe it's Triton is the company that's actually producing this.
Yep. Mhm.
Triton, is that right?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
believe it's Triton that is producing this submersible. And it's been in development for some time. Now, this company in particular, these guys are the leaders in deep water submersibles. Like if you're going to go down deep,
The target.
these guys are the ones that are
submersibles.
going to be going. They have a great track record of, safety, etc. Like this is what people use. Anyway.
Okay.
But I thought it was kind of, Team Triton right there, baby. Look at these guys.
This guy's picture is very funny.
That guy's in an oil drum.
He's in a drum.
But yeah, these guys have a bunch of stuff. They actually show the submersible on their website if you go to it. I don't know whether you'll be able to access it through here. The articles that I read did link to it though.
Oh, those are dope.
Yes, they are very cool. They make some very fancy looking submersibles, but they also make some very like super like deep sea submersibles. Like this is.
That looks like the
500
one
meters.
Will Smith went in.
Yeah.
Then we keep
yeah.
going 1,000 meters.
Yeah, there's some very like okay, so
Yo,
see this
that
one right
one,
here,
the
the
fourth-
the Abyssal Explorer, the Triton 4000.
Yep.
That's it right there.
That's an amazing looking
That's
vehicle.
the bad boy.
Something
That's the bad boy that's going down deep right there.
something
Ooh.
Batman would have.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
that's cool.
It's
Now
got
again,
wings,
your big limitation here is that you can only put 2 people in there. But
think well.
if it's going to go down and come back up several times, which these are rated to do, that's really all that matters.
Okay. World's
You know,
deepest
you
diving
don't-
acrylic sub.
Yeah, you don't want to, explode on the way down.
great. That's cool.
It's very good. So, anyway, this popped up in a couple of group chats for me this week, and this article's been all over the place, Gizmodo and Gadget, things like that. Everybody
Yeah.
seems to be nervous, but I think this guy's going to do just fine. This sub is gonna be great.
He's gonna touch the grass and come back up.
Now, is he buying this sub?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
What do the subs run?
Great
it's
question.
$20 million.
Mm.
That's what the articles that I read had suggested that sub is going to sell for.
Josh, you think
$20
he
million.
finances it?
Oh, he definitely finances it. There's a lot. Your money could be doing a lot more than just paying off a $20 million sub.
Yeah, he
That's
definitely
right, baby.
finances it.
That's right. Anyway,
His net worth is approximately $2 billion, while his
Oh,
real
yeah, he
estate
financed it.
portfolio is $5 billion.
It's like me going to get a Civic. I'm not just
yeah.
gonna drop
I
the
mean, at
cash.
that, at that point in time,
Yeah.
what do we care?
Yep.
Yeah,
20 million.
I guess.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, you get to go see the Titanic and presumably some of the wreckage of, Ocean Gate, I guess. Is that what it was called?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
He gets down there and
that's right.
Leo's smoking a cigar.
Now,
Underwater.
I've asked you this question before.
What up?
The prior expedition, little bit of a experimental,
Yeah,
yeah.
went crazy.
It was kind of,
Bad feedback.
those are pioneers, if you will, in an experimental technology. Did not go so well. And I know at the time you were like, no, wouldn't do it. And I understand. Now, would you go if we had a tried and true?
We had one of those?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going on the thing with the Xbox controller. No.
The expired plane fuselage.
Yeah. No, I think like the real key to it is the sphere. If you're not going down in a sphere, it's not good.
And I would think that this thing would, at $20 million, has the cutting edge technology required. Those are the forefathers of expedition didn't have even a window.
Yep.
So I think we're talking about a different league here. So yeah, I'd consider it. I'd think about it.
It's on the fence. He's 50-50, guys.
Yeah.
50-50.
Prior, that other, there's also the shock that they kind of exploded, kind of like right there.
Yeah.
Is a little scary. But with this, again, what I said, I saw the thing with Will Smith. That looks exactly like the machine he went down in, and he's still living.
He did all right.
He did okay.
Josh, are you going down to the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah.
You would go? Okay, great. I love it.
Yeah.
This is a very adventurous podcast right now. Moving on. OpenAI. Safety team quits.
I heard about that.
They steal Scarlett Johansson's voice.
They definitely just stole it.
And it seems
Didn't
as
even
if
try.
they're sinking into a wee bit of chaos as ChatGPT 4.0.
Yeah,
I believe.
Like the letter O.
The letter O, because it stands for something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But a lot is happening. Now, we do a lot of technology talk on this show.
We're some tech bros.
From time to time.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to listen? We'll talk the safety team quitting. Who cares? Did you get a chance to listen to Scarlett Johansson?
I did. I listened to Apple News with I can't remember her name, but she's on maternity leave.
We don't do free promotion around here.
They got a bunch of people filling in for her.
Yeah.
And by the way, Apple's benefits have to be crazy because she's been away for like 9 months.
Yeah, I don't know that you have to come back.
Right. But anyway, this was a topic, and they actually played the AI voice that Scarlett claims was stolen from her, and then OpenAI's rebuttal was the actress that they hired.
I believe the name was Sky.
Right.
So
sounds like her.
For a little context, for those that don't know or are not familiar with the situation, OpenAI, who is responsible for ChatGPT, which most people have had some experience with at this stage in the game, has released a new iteration of ChatGPT, which the big component there, or one of the big components, is that you have the ability to communicate with it directly. Like you can talk to it and it talks back, and it does sound pretty incredible. Like
Imagine an Alexa or a Siri.
It does feel like you're talking to a person most of the time, as opposed to like I would say a Siri or something, which feels very robotic or very, you know what I'm saying? Like this
predetermined
feels
responses versus
correct,
this
100%.
Is pulling.
And Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, he's had a interesting past as well, but he has reached out to Scarlett Johansson several times over the last few months, trying to get her permission more or less to use her voice.
On ScarJo's voice, yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to use her voice. This is because she was the voice of the AI in the movie Her. And she ultimately declined and said that she did not want to have her voice associated to ChatGPT. And here we are at the demo of ChatGPT 4.0, and the voice, Sky, sounds very similar.
Very, very similar.
Very similar. It is different. I mean, in my opinion, there are differences. If you said that it kind of, I don't know, there are differences, but it certainly sounds like they tried to knock off Scarlett Johansson. Now, the big caveat here is the fact that they had, there's a huge now legal thing that's going to be coming into play, whether or not they stole her voice and what does that look like. But the big caveat is that they had kind of repeatedly asked for her voice and she had declined, and seemingly they went ahead and mimicked it to the best of their ability. Now, they claim they hired a voice actress. They have not released her information.
They also claim that that's said actress's normal speaking voice, natural speaking voice.
Yes. Yeah. So But again, no information. It seems like they could have really put this to bed if they just put this person's name out
Yes.
there. So I don't know. Seems like maybe.
Yeah, it's always alluded to as her, not
Well,
who
and
she is.
And Sam Altman tweeted on May 13th just the word her
yeah, kind of creepy.
during the announcement of
Yeah, and you know, if you've heard it, it kind of sounds like ScoJo, but if it OpenAI is being shady about it, that's point blank. They're being shady about it. If it is someone, then just say who it is, and they can kind of put this to bed. Now they're going to court and they're trying to cover it up, and it's the whole thing. They engineered the voice to sound like Scarlett, and now they got to pay for it.
Yes. Yeah. Probably. That's what's going to happen. If they had never reached out to Scarlett Johansson and they just mimicked
And they
the
just
voice,
did it. Yeah,
they'd be probably in the clear.
I think the same thing happened to like Tom Hanks.
I think there was an ad that used a voice that was very similar to Tom Hanks, if not AI generated, that made it seem as if he was endorsing a product, perhaps. But apparently that has happened to a lot of people. Anybody that has a large like catalog of audio recordings, like a Tom Hanks, or I know Joe Rogan has spoken about
Drake
it a
just
little
did
bit.
this with Tupac.
That people have been like taking their voices and like basically running ads and running them until they get caught, and then
Taking it down. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Sam Altman, interesting dude. Safety team quits. How do we feel about that? Basically,
what does safety team?
So there's a couple of people that were responsible. There was a team at OpenAI that was more or less responsible for monitoring kind of the trajectory of ChatGPT and how it would impact, in simple terms, basically like the human race moving forward. So they were kind of supposed to be, I don't know, I guess the guards a little bit at the gate of, a Terminator situation or something.
Copy.
Like they're supposed to kind of project how this could impact civilization, whether it be positive or negative, and maybe help offer some guidance, provide some guide rails, something like that, so that perhaps
Protocols in place in case this gets crazy.
Essentially, so that we don't, again, wind up like,
enslaved by robots.
more or less. But so they started quitting a few weeks ago. Like key members of that team started
They saw it
departing.
happen.
And
they
then-
knew what was going on.
Yeah, and then the team, I guess, ultimately disbanded, and they got rid of it altogether. Now they have formed something of a, I guess, second version of this safety team. However, Sam Altman is one of the heads of it, so people feel as if it's more of a for show thing.
Is it like a
something
board
that's meaningful.
where these people kind of come together and then their teams kind of contribute what they can to make this larger protocol scheme, or are they just like an engineering team together?
I think it was more like an engineering team at the time. I think now it might be more of like a board
Oh, great.
situation. That's the sense that I got from the articles.
The Rock,
but
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know. It has chat in, we don't have to go. We got other things to talk about, so we're not going to go super deep into it. But has Chat GPT changed your life
Very much so.
dramatically?
I went to a
Like in a positive or negative way?
positive.
Like, do you foresee, though, a future where things go off the rails for you?
Let me give you this
ChatGPT?
real quick. 10 days ago, Reddit and OpenAI announced a partnership to integrate Reddit's content into OpenAI products, allowing it to use the data API in real time. And then 3 days later, News Corp, owners of Fox, also signed an agreement to integrate their content
Good old
into
a lot of
ChatGPT.
opinionated content.
So we're really going.
Yeah,
we're giving it some good stuff.
Yes.
Absolutely. I went to a symposium, I want to say about 2-3 months ago, and the gentleman that was there was specifically speaking about generative AI and large language models. And, part of my job is, writing code, things like that. And with these large language models, it becomes AI is a great benefit because it can literally write code for you, right? Like you have to know what you're looking at.
You have to know what to prompt it, perhaps,
exactly.
but it can do some of
it's like a spell checker for you,
Yeah,
right? Like,
correct.
okay, I'm writing this, I'm getting some syntax errors, throw it in ChatGPT, like this isn't, and it'll say, oh, this is probably why.
Sure.
You might want to try X, Y, and Z. And then, oh, okay, cool. And then you try, oh, it works. And that's what it's great for. And it's been an ultimate benefit in my line of work right now. But in this symposium, he spoke a lot about how there's going to be a divide in about 10 years where generative AI is going to be incorporated into a lot of our now everyday, kind of like what happened with the iPhone, right? Mm-hmm. We went from not having smartphones and technology in our pocket to now literally any and everything that I need is right here, right? I couldn't go a day without it just because that's how impactful it's become. And he spoke about what's going to happen with generative AI being incorporated into our everyday devices. And there's going to be a divide with people who know how to utilize the tool, much with like people who know how to use, top tier technology, Google Androids and iPhones, versus people that don't, right? And we know what that looks like. And then there's going to be another divide with people who know how to use AI to their benefit in their everyday lives versus people that don't. And
sure, but do you feel like, and not to cut you off, but you say you're currently using it to your benefit.
Right.
Do you feel like there's ever a point where those axes kind of cross and now it's doing more, like it's doing more of the work that perhaps you would have done at a time, and now it's kind of rendering you a little bit more useless as opposed to, like right now you're prompting it and it's providing something.
Right.
I mean, seems like soon enough it's going to be able to prompt itself to do a lot of things. If you were to just tell it, like in a very yes, like a child were to just say like, "Hey, I need A, B, and C,"
and it will do it.
Correct.
I don't think so, because I think what happens in this trajectory is that people will it will become a tool versus just kind of like a prompt itself.
Okay.
Right. Like it's trying to compare it to like a code writing tool. Like there's no industry validation on which one is the one. It's just which one works best for you. 100%. And I think that's what will happen with these AI tools. They will become which one kind of works better for you. Like, and there are different, OpenAI is probably the one that's more public, but there are different ones that do different things. And then there's like a GPT for all, which is a local model, and you download the language models to your system, whatever Mac or PC, and you can run the GPT locally, right? Locally means it's on your computer. For those
as opposed to like in the cloud,
as opposed to hitting OpenAI servers, scouring the internet for responses, and then giving it back to you.
Yeah, it's more localized.
Yeah. So, and just those two distinguishing components make them night and day. So, I don't know.
You're feeling optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic for it. I think we're at least 50 years away from it.
Oh, wow. Really? You think 50 years?
From it, yeah. I don't think sentience is like...
I appreciate your optimism. I think it's valuable.
I think 25 at a minimum.
I think we need it. I think in 5 years,
we'll get robot soldiers.
I don't know about robot soldiers. I honestly do think in this particular case, I think the physical aspects of like robotics and all of that, I think that's actually going to take more time to sort out than the AI human like component of it. I think we'll have that way before we have just like humanoid robots. But I think in 5 years, I think that the world as we know it will be relatively upside down from where we are right now because of OpenAI, ChatGPT, all these different tools. It's moving at such a pace. If it was like very gradual and very slow or something, I could maybe go with you on it. Like iOS and like, my experience with like software and like releases has been every year or whatever, or it could be a few years. Like this, there is like this really slow progression to how it is released and tested and all these things. And ChatGPT seems as if it is just like blowing past all of those things as far as timeline is concerned. So I just feel like in 5 years, I don't even know that we're going to recognize
what it is now versus what it will be.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my take.
I'm thinking like my timeline
opinion.
is 25 to 50 years is when we need to be like, oh, okay, maybe we need to pull back the reins.
I think we're past that point.
You do? Okay.
I do. I think, again, there are versions of this that are far superior to the versions that we have access to, right? That already are operating and exist. I mean, we definitely, the general public, regardless of what you're paying, does not have access to
what they have on their server farm.
Yeah. Look, I mean, whatever, like the top of the line, like untested, like unexplored, like just far reaches of ChatGPT, whatever that version is, it definitely exists, and we're nowhere near utilizing it at this point. I mean, the general public is not. So I think at some point, I think this is just like easing us into that reality a little bit. Like they can't just drop this thing out into the world and have it just destroy.
No.
Humans understand. Chaos. Correct. Yeah, it's going to be so chaotic. So they have to kind of like piecemeal it a little bit. And I think that's more or less what they're doing. I think it's moving at a pretty fast pace. I don't know if you've listened to Sam Altman talk at all.
At all.
Obviously I don't know him or anything, but he seems relatively cavalier about the whole thing. It feels a little bit like a young Zuckerberg and like the move fast, break things kind of way. Yeah. However, it seems as if what they're playing with is a little bit more substantial than social media, in my opinion. Like he seems to talk about it as we just got to see what happens. We just got to see what
people
it can
don't really understand that automation has been like around for so long. Right. Like, now I think this part of it is now the person can tell the AI what automation it wants versus the automations. Cause like people don't know, like simple firmware, like a freaking traffic light can be considered a type of AI. Right. And that crap came out in the 70s. So now we're getting into a much a field of depth when it comes to engineering and the information that it can actually give you. I mean, it could get a little dicey.
I think it's gone so fast, and I agree with you, Taylor, that there's a lot of technology that exists already that we're not familiar with yet.
Sure.
And I fear that legislation and protections like the Scarlett Johansson thing are well behind the curve.
Oh,
here.
Absolutely. This should have never happened.
That takes forever.
Correct.
To do.
Government works at a snail's pace. So
everything else, like the things that I feel like, I don't know, they're very relevant to this like time, like to this kind of like time that we're living in. But the piece that's like the most terrifying is what moves the fastest, I think. And that is like the AI piece is just outpacing all of the other aspects of it. Like the legislative aspect, our understanding of it, what it's capable of. Like,
it definitely will do an incredible amount of harm before the government is able to regulate it or say,
and I think
that's not.
I mean, again, like once the genie's out of the bottle, I just don't know. But anyway,
I have a question for you. Given this AI thing, are you familiar with what Elon is doing with Neuralink?
Yeah.
What type of component do you think OpenAI plays in contributing to like what the capabilities are with like Neuralink?
I think that we're still, and this is again, I'm sure we don't have access to everything, but I think that we're still a little ways off from
combining the human brain and AI,
complete, synchronization between those two things. I do think the Neuralink technology is probably the beginning stages of that. It's interesting because Elon is one of those guys that like love him or hate him. I do think he tends to not hold much back. Like I don't sense that there's like tons of secrets in the Tesla like playbook or in the Neuralink playbook. Yeah. I think as soon as they come up with something cool, they're like, we're putting it out. And I think a lot of times like way too probably soon, right? Because they'll like announce something and you won't see it for 8 years. So I don't know that like Neuralink has versions I don't know that there are like versions of Neuralink that are vastly superior, but I do think that is the beginning of
the human computer synchronization.
100%. 100%. So, but I think again, I think the AI thing is going to outpace that considerably. Like by the time those two, I mean, even to back up further, I bet you AI helps solve a lot of those
problems that Neuralink is
ultimately having. Like if anything was going to sort out the mechanics of all of that, I bet you it would be some form of AI. So I think those things will be expedited.
Can't wait
in the coming years, and continuing down this trend of technology and all things fun. TikTok versus the Justice Department officially set for September. Oral arguments will begin. This is in regards to the TikTok ban.
So they have to. We're at the point where it was. There's a demand for TikTok to sell their company, or is it the technology?
So basically,
or what have you?
The TikTok ownership has to more or less transfer to a U.S. based entity.
Such bullies. Man.
Now, the big caveat is that it really probably pertains specifically to the name. I'm guessing. Like, there's this thing of, I think TikTok has come out, or ByteDance has come out and said that they won't sell the underlying algorithm that powers TikTok, that they would, if push came to shove, that they would perhaps sell the TikTok name, and like they would.
We'll sell you the car, but we're not giving you the engine.
Correct. Like that's going to stay with us.
You put your own engine. In
they're going to put up a fight initially for sure. They're going to try to keep it as is, and seems so. This is an appeals situation, by the way. These oral arguments are for the appeal portion. It was already technically banned. It just has an expiration date. So this could perhaps push that back, or give TikTok a second shot as we know it now.
I think ultimately this is just so the U.S. can have eyes under the hood and so it's a safety regulation for them. I think ultimately what will happen is that they'll come to some type of an agreement where it'll be owned, just kind of like designed in California, but built in China. Yeah. It'll be one of those situations where ownership will be kind of done by a U.S. company, but the meat and potatoes will still be produced over. But it's a Korean company, Chinese,
but it wouldn't.
Chinese.
Yeah, so ByteDance owns it, which is
the whole problem.
Correct.
That this bill is trying to solve.
Yes.
Is the Chinese government interaction.
The government interaction.
Yeah, they don't. So like technically, I guess speaking, the Chinese government doesn't like own ByteDance, but they do are on the board of ByteDance, and they do have direct ties, it seems, to the TikTok application.
Because all consumer regulated things that come out of China, the Chinese government has to have some type of
approval and and backdoor,
right?
I believe
access
is also required.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if anything, it seems like the algorithm will get stripped out of it. Maybe the TikTok name will be sold. I don't know how valuable it would be to anybody at that stage in the game, but who knows? I think the oral arguments will be interesting. So more to come on that, but they did officially set those dates. You still for the ban? You were for the ban originally.
Oh,
you were pro ban.
Was I? I don't know if I was pro ban.
I think you were pro ban. I
think I was like more conspiracy theory pro ban, like the information that they are gathering on the data that they are getting from the United States. But like now that I think about it, like
your kids use TikTok?
Nah,
no,
my kids.
Is that a choice or because you said
they're just not? They don't have the technological dexterity to even understand it yet. 6 and 4, like they're not even.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. It seems like kids use TikTok, but yeah, you might be right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you would know better than I would.
Play Roblox.
All right, fair enough.
I gotta monitor the chat.
We'll dive back into some movie stuff here. We'll have some fun.
Make sure there's no pervs.
That's right.
There's pervs everywhere, dude. It's the internet. Worst Memorial Day weekend for theaters.
Poor Furiosa, man.
In 26 years, my guy. 26, almost 3 decades.
There was no bangers.
Furiosa came out and Garfield came out. and I went to see Furiosa in theaters.
Oh, I was going to ask you, did you see it? Was it any good?
It's excellent. It's fantastic. Did you like Fury Road?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's amazing. It's great.
Absolutely.
It's a blast. It is.
It's one of those movies.
It's 100% in keeping with Fury Road. It's
a prequel though, right?
It is a prequel series. This movie feeds directly into like the final shot of this
literally
movie
gets you into
literally is the first shot of like
the first
Fury Road, more or less. Yeah. And so you have a lot of characters that overlap. You basically get the backstory on the wasteland, all of like the major kind of like villains and warlords. You basically get all their backstories, how it all came about. Furiosa, you get the backstory on her character from like a young kid up until the point where she's breaking everybody out of the warlords kind of like prison cell thing or whatever. But again, if you liked Fury Road, if you were into that,
I'm sure. Is it the same? Is it the same director?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which
same everything, man.
Yeah, man. I think it's
fantastic. Really, really, really well done. Which feeds a little bit into so circling back to worst Memorial Day weekend ever in theaters. My theater experience.
It's pretty bleak.
Very bleak, dude.
Nobody there.
Super bleak. I went Friday night, 9:30. This is opening night.
Where to?
Warehouse. Warehouse. Originally we had 6 o'clock tickets. I bought these tickets, I think on Thursday for the Friday showing. When I bought the 6 o'clock tickets, could have picked any seat I wanted. Completely open. Opening night.
Did anybody check your tickets?
Yes, they did check my tickets. Emily decided on Friday,
she was
too nice of a day. She was like, we can't go to a 6 o'clock movie. I thought it might rain. So anyway, I bump it. I go to the 9:30, any seat I want.
You could have
opening
went crazy
day. 6 o'clock and 9:30 screenings. Opening day. I could have had any seat. Could have picked any seat. Now, when we got there and went in, there were like 6 other people in the theater with us. But dude. Dark days.
But how was Garfield?
Dark days. I did not see Garfield.
No. How busy was it?
How busy was Garfield? Oh, no.
Glancing into that theater.
The theater was dead.
Was like a Barbieheimer thing? Like people go see
everybody's in Garfield first. Yeah, right.
Theater was dead, dude.
Dang,
Dark days. Dark days for the theater. I don't know what to tell you on that front. It's not getting any better.
I'll say this.
It's not getting any better.
Memorial Day, July the 4th, Labor Day are typically the blockbuster, like, because people are off. It's a 3-day weekend. Oh, we can hit the movies or what have you. And usually that is associated with a big blockbuster name, someone who is like
a Tom Cruise,
Will Smith, Brad, like top. Like we come out on these.
Well,
weekends.
You have Chris Hemsworth. He's in Furiosa.
Is he box
Anna
office?
Taylor-Joy's in it.
Outside of the MCU stuff?
Maybe not. Yeah, you might be right. Not traditionally speaking.
Even the Thor movies have kind of like
Chris Pratt, Garfield.
He's in it. Oh yeah, he is the voice of Garfield. But that's a cartoon. People not really, passively, you're not really associating Garfield with
Sam Jackson.
Chris
in
Pratt.
Garfield.
He's in it. Didn't even know that.
Wasn't Snoop Dogg in it also? I feel like in Garfield. Anyway.
Missed me. And this is like my thing. Like I'm like, what movie? Like, nah, this is not. It stinks.
Listen, you could be right. I don't know. I'm trying to pin it down.
Now, if Will Smith was Garfield or Brad Pitt, or Tom Cruise was Garfield.
Chris Pratt, Sam Jackson, Hannah Waddingham.
Maybe.
Ving Rhames.
In all fairness, I do think, as I recall it, Fury Road took a few weekends to kind of pick up. It was more of a word-of-mouth movie. It's been 10 years since Fury Road came out.
Yeah.
There was a huge legal thing that George Miller was caught up in with Warner Brothers. It was very chaotic, which is what ultimately postponed it. I think the initial idea was that there was going to be a series of these films, and I think that ultimately delayed it. But I think that Furiosa will have decent weekends moving forward. Again, I don't know whether it's going to be explosive or not at the box office at any point, just given the time delay between that and the last one. But in either case, Perhaps prices, maybe. I don't know. It was 40.
Yeah, movie prices are crazy.
It was $42
for just you
for Emily and I.
Oh yeah,
to go to Furiosa.
you got to really pay to see what movie you want. Tickets used to be $7.
That's pricey. And so, you know, if you're gonna take that's just two people. Like if you're gonna go, first of all, Garfield's a family movie. You're taking kids. You're not going by yourself.
Yeah.
So double that. I mean, the average family is what? Mom, dad, 2 kids.
Yeah.
Average.
Dog has to stay home.
4 tickets. That's almost $100.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of streaming services for $100.
I mean, I have all of them. About $100 a month.
Sure.
So yeah.
But my point is, you're probably less inclined to run out to the
Absolutely.
theater.
We don't even think about taking the kids to the movies. Like that's like, oh, Trolls is coming out. Okay, well, it's something to do. Like Garfield, like I'm not taking my kids to see Garfield. And also, they could give a crap.
Movies are moving from the theater to streaming so fast.
So fast.
Actually, I think so fast, in fact, that people have recognized that, like, if enough of us don't go,
they'll drop it.
They'll drop it on streaming sooner. Like Fall Guy came out, I think, streaming 2 weeks after because it had such an abysmal debut, and that is Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And what's her face?
Emily Blunt.
There it is.
But then it goes to streaming and
names.
becomes the #1 movie in the marketplace, though. I mean, for that weekend or what have you.
Fall Guy had a big marketing problem. I don't even know what it's about. Is it a romance thing? Is it action? Is it comedy? I never knew. I don't feel like the trailers ever did a good job of describing what it was. And I like both of those people. I just never knew what it was.
I still don't know what it is. I just remember seeing him on SNL because they was like, yeah, my movie Fall Guy's coming out. And I still didn't give a crap to see it.
So you obviously did not make your way out to the theaters. Okay. Well, great. Perfect. I was there holding it down. Dude, high marks on Furiosa. Go see it.
First responder.
If you haven't or you're on the fence, definitely go check it out. It's very much worth it.
Okay.
The theater experience has not gotten any better. I feel bad for Warehouse. It's just not good. It's a ghost town in there, dude. Everyone acts like it's like
I can do whatever I want.
It's sad. It's really sad. I don't know how they make money. They have to be losing money every day.
We go on these tangents all the time.
I know.
And now that you're raising the prices to these astronomical numbers, you can't expect for me to want to go to the movies and pay this and get service from 16-year-olds.
So we've been talking about this for a few years about the decline of movies theaters, and we can say it's sad, and it is sad. But at what point is it just the way it is, and we move on from movie theaters?
I don't know. That's a great question. Is it
just inflation that's causing the skyrocket?
I think that's certainly a part of it. I don't think that the strikes helped. That really kind of screwed up a lot of the releases.
So a lot of recoup.
But I don't, there are big movies that are coming out that just aren't sticking. And it's not like Marvel is having tons of success, or Pixar or Disney. All their movies are kind of doing awful.
Yeah.
Now maybe Wolverine and Deadpool does better, but
we'll see.
I bet you it doesn't. I bet you it doesn't push the numbers that they expect it to.
I think it will do half of what they expect.
I think
they're thinking of $100 million.
And then the other thing is, if it consistently does less than they expect, who's setting these expectations? Like, is it based on just the budget strictly?
I think it's based on I think it's based on budget. I think it's based on prior releases. Like Deadpool has traditionally been a pretty successful IP in the theaters. I think.
I'd say it's done. Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's done in the upward hundreds of millions. Not upwards, but like in the hundreds of millions, and as far as funds generated. So
there's star power in that movie.
Yeah.
So I think that they probably, but I don't know. I mean, based on like Fall Guy and Furiosa and what's been happening the last couple of months, I mean, especially the last couple of Marvel movies, you have to be thinking that your numbers are not going to be as great as you.
Well, we're finally getting some familiar faces.
But that's in the Marvel situation.
In the Marvel kind of landscape.
Again, it's a standalone thing, more or less. I'm not saying that it won't tie in to some capacity, but it's not really. This is not what Marvel once was as far as a theater going like
experience.
This
is the next chapter
in
the story. Like, yeah, we're excited.
This is kind of a weird outlier, I think. I mean, I think Marvel, I think Disney, I think Pixar, I think they're struggling to figure out what to do
this is
next.
their only movie this year. Let's hope maybe they get it right.
Yeah. Oh, and If bombed. That was John Krasinski's film. Everybody says that that's terrible. Nobody's going to go see that. I think Pixar has Inside Out 2 coming out
excited
shortly.
Excited for that. Yeah. Now that we are going to take Clark to go see.
Okay.
Quinn could give a crap about that.
That's 2 weeks out.
It looks like you're going to make it back into theaters.
We're going to go to
you have A Quiet Place. The prequel for A Quiet Place is coming out.
I also think that's niche. That
but there's not a lot of like big major blockbusters.
Nah. Everybody kind of pulled back when they saw like what's hitting in the movies.
Yeah.
And then they're also just kind of like, just put it out and see what happens. And if it fails, we'll just throw it in streaming.
Yeah. Speaking of streaming, price hikes for most streamers are incoming.
Wait, are you telling me cable's coming back?
Seems like it. So most streaming services have either experienced price hikes in the last few months or they have them incoming.
Everything's went up about $2-3.
Everything's going to continue to go up. However, Comcast, their CEO, has promised a bundle package of Apple TV Plus, Netflix, and Peacock that he says will vastly reduce the price. However,
I don't believe it.
If these services all have commercials, which is what everybody is suspecting, that this bundle price,
bottom tier price will be trash.
Correct. That it basically is going to put together all of the lower versions. Now, Apple TV Plus doesn't have commercials in any version of it.
It's just Apple TV Plus, right? Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe Apple is going to subsidize the cost of that.
No, what they'll do is they'll offer this regular version in the bundles and then boost it for people like us who just pay for it.
No, what I'm saying is like Apple TV, when you sign up for this bundle, Apple TV is not going to have commercials. It'll be cheaper. It'll be a cheaper version ultimately. But Apple's going to eat the cost of the fact that they're not going to be able to run ads on it. Netflix and Peacock, both of those apps, they're going to pump those full of ads to subsidize the cost of the overall bundle price. I mean, not even to subsidize the Apple TV price. I'm just saying to subsidize if it is true.
Taking such a hit on a regular subscriber.
Correct.
Because
if they're going to reduce the price so that it's that low, if that's true,
it's like $14 or something like
they're
that.
Not going to lose. They're not going to lose money on it
for all three. I don't think
Comcast wants 15.
Yeah,
and it went on the market today. It started selling today.
The best Netflix is 20. The best Peacock is 12, and Apple TV still is at 10.
Is Apple TV? Does that have commercials? I'm assuming all of these have commercials.
No,
Netflix
Apple TV.
I couldn't. I've opened 10 articles and I can't, the word commercial shows up in none of them.
Okay.
Doesn't say whether that is or isn't though.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely not paying $15 a month for all three of those things and not watching commercials.
You're going to get a commercial somewhere.
You're getting them somewhere.
I'm also unclear here. So they've now got a product called Now TV as well.
Cable. It's all just cable.
That this article says
it's crazy.
Those signing up for Stream Saver at $15 a month can also add Comcast Now TV for an extra $15, and that includes 40 live TV channels, including AMC, A&E, Hallmark, History, blah 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 blah.
Got you. Yeah. This is
so I'm unclear whether that's something you can just do ad hoc and just do like, DirecTV Now kind of thing and not have the boxes. I'm kind of unclear on that. That's what it
seems like.
Their website, when you go to the website for Now TV, it says it starts at $55 a month, which is not 15 and 15.
No.
So
no. And then I think what's odd is that people forget that you still got to have internet.
You need the internet.
You need the internet to watch this stuff.
That's where they get you. You need a Comcast internet plan in order to do the Stream Saver and the.
So it's like if you don't want the boxes, fine. You can pay for this internet cable. That's really what it's turning to: internet cable versus your traditional box and wire, FiOS, optic, fiber optic cable situation. They're just repackaging it as something different. And it's trying to scam us all.
All trends come back around. So
now, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, tell me.
If I were able to get an internet package
tell me about
of FiOS without having a box in my home, because I have it just for local sports, I'd do it. If it, I think my package right now is $220 I get it. And my internet is what costs the most, right? My internet is $100. I got a gigabit speed because over 50.
For no reason.
Over 50. Well, my wife and I we're both remote, right?
For no reason.
Well, it's a scam, right? Because we're both working from home. Zoom meetings are dropping. I'm talking like a robot. People can't hear me. So
yeah, I think that has less to do with the speeds. I think it has more to do with like probably internet quality is my guess. Okay. Like that's my sense of it because I have a gig internet here and I have the same thing. Like I'll have mornings where like I have like meetings are like breaking up and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's not possible.
It's not possible. It can't. It's just
got to be internet quality. I think there is a difference.
Quality. Okay.
Yeah. Between like speed and quality, I think there is.
But if I could maybe save $40 and just pay for a version of Fios where I don't require the Fios Lite. And
does Verizon have an app or anything?
They have this thing called
like a live TV app, like a Direct TV Now has like the Direct TV Now.
You can watch channels from your subscription, but they don't sell just a streaming service.
But is there an app on the Apple TV that I can log in and it has like a guide and everything?
But it's like $15 on your plan, and then you have to pay. I think it's per streaming device that you want. So, I mean, I've just been kind of like, I've had it on autopilot as far as paying the bill. So I'm like, whatever. But if they could just like simplify it and push that. Look, you need the internet and this is what you need to watch if you have the internet. Mm-hmm. Just sell me that. Just sell me the internet and all the...
Yeah, but that's too simple, man. They're going to continue to complicate it. Because when they complicate it, that's when you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know that. We're going to round this out real quick. I went to a Best Buy recently.
I love Best Buy.
When's the last time you went to a Best Buy?
Actually, pretty recently, I bought a TV for someone, but it was dead. It was empty.
Dude.
Yeah, a relative
it's
needed
the
a
Walking
TV.
Dead.
You know, old people.
It's dark days.
Are you buying this stuff and like just pay me back later, or you just eating the costs?
No. It's a pay me back later. And here's the way it works.
Buying stuff for people a lot, and I'm like, what?
Here's the way this always works. What part of the
spectrum am I at as a friend where I'm not getting these type of lavish
Just recently, my uncle told me that he really needed a laptop. It was difficult to get into the office to use his iMac. So I said, all right, great. He goes, 15-inch. Your aunt and I have decided I want a 15-inch computer. Whatever, just, buy it for me.
So I just got him
make it happen.
As a couple.
Uncle. Yeah, as a couple, they decided.
Isn't that an interesting thing that the older generation, they share one laptop?
No. This is just for him. She's got her own computer.
Okay, all right.
Basically, he's saying she approved the cost.
Got you.
This is fine. I just got him a 15-inch Air base model, nothing special, 1200, whatever it is.
Great computer, yeah.
And I get it there. She goes, Joshua, how much was it? Can you send me the bill? I said, yeah. So I just sent her the receipt. Mm-hmm. And then the next day I woke up to a Zelle for $1,600.
Oh, that was nice.
Which is always the way it works. So I always volunteer.
Well, she paid you for lunch.
Yeah, right. Of course. Right. Exactly.
That's sweet.
You're an expert.
So that $300 TV that I bought for them
not free.
Netted me $150, $200.
Way to go, man.
There you go.
Very good. Yeah. I love it.
That's dope. Well, yeah, I go to.
I did that at Best Buy.
Doing the Lord's work over here.
God bless.
That's the last time I walked into a Best Buy, though.
Best Buy.
When I got my watch.
Dark days.
November.
Over at Best Buy.
Yep.
It's wild in there. Not in like the good way.
We upgraded our phones when we went to the.
You went to a Best Buy and upgraded your phones?
Interesting.
Well,
what does the upgrading your phone reality look like at a Best Buy? Because I got to imagine it's Store, awful.
Bro. The same as the Apple Store. They just don't. They're just not as. You would think that you're going into a tech store where the people are more technologically inclined, and they're not. And I would think I'm not. I think I'm pretty. When it comes to
savvy, sure.
Yeah, when it comes to what's going on.
No disrespect to the Best Buy staff. I've never gone into a Best Buy thinking that like these are the experts.
Nor to you. What was your reason for going to a Best Buy to do that process?
Over any other place.
They had the phones we wanted in stock.
What phones?
With 15.
Is this like the day after launch day or something?
I didn't pre-order. Yeah, I didn't I didn't do the pre-order because I don't want to this is my own personal gripe. I don't like pre-ordering things like that I have to live with, and I get it, and I don't like it. So I want to go see it and tell, okay, all right, I'm sold. And then that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I don't want to do that whole thing.
But you went to Best Buy. That's a whole thing.
I'd rather do that. I'd make a day of it.
That's more than a whole thing.
And see, if your argument was, I don't want to go to the Apple store on launch day because it's too busy. And then you say, I made a day of it at Best Buy.
Well, it's not as crowded. We got individual attention. The kids can kind of like go do their own thing and walk around. The Apple store is crowded. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
Right.
They never have it in stock. And this random time, they had exactly what we needed, what we wanted in stock. My wife wanted an upgrade. We were ready. We went, they had them. I paid for them and we just went to pick them up, do the swap, and we were in and out in like 30 minutes.
Wait a minute. So you paid for it and then you went to pick it up. So you pre-ordered it.
No, but I went to the Apple store to see the phone myself. This is me.
You're not helping yourself here, though.
Oh my God!
Your explanation is
convoluted process.
All
right, I know.
Let's just hold up for 1 second. You went to the Apple store, to experience the phone in person.
Yes,
you did that.
Yep.
You were like, great.
All right, cool.
Then you went home.
Yeah.
Then you got online, and you said, "I want to get this phone. I'm gonna buy this phone."
Now I'm gonna get it. Yep.
You online. Mm-hmm. So you went to the Best Buy website.
Yeah.
You bought the phone.
Yep.
And you chose in-store pickup.
Yeah. Then I trade mine in. Easier than mailing.
Then you
it's right there.
Okay.
Right by my house, right there.
So then you drove to the Best Buy.
Yep. And we did the whole thing.
And you got the phones at Best Buy.
Yep.
And then you went home.
And we went home.
And that was the whole day.
That was it. No, that wasn't the whole day. It was like an hour.
You did all that in an hour.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
All right.
When I say make a day of it, it's like this is the thing we're going to do today.
Listen, when I put Best Buy on the show notes, that's not at all how I thought this conversation was going to go.
And it was great. My wife got her phone. She was happy.
Your phone buying experience is...
I can buy anything else online.
It's a real gem.
Except my phone. I have to like touch it and be like,
I'm still asking you though, if you had to go to the Apple store to put your hands on it, why not just order it from Apple and do pickup? No, I understand that you can't pre-order.
They never have it.
Okay. I don't know if I've
never gotten an iPhone from not an Apple store, I don't think.
Well, I don't like waiting. One, I need the instant gratification.
But you just go online.
Yeah.
And you just pre-order it online.
Yeah, and
you can just say pick up in the Apple store.
Yeah.
If you want to go so bad.
Yeah, it'll be here November 32nd. And I'm like, that's so far out from now when I want it.
Clarify, you're not ordering or trying to do this when the phones come out, like literally when they come out.
Nah.
You're doing this way later.
It depends. Like if I want it now.
I've also never had any problem the day of launch or the day after or within the first week going onto the Apple website and saying, I want this phone, pick up $1,000. Because of course you pre-order and you're right. It'll kick it out a week. You won't get it for a week or a week and a half.
Yeah.
But there's almost always walk-in availability, like reservation availability.
I feel like the month delays of phones
that's what I
is
don't
not
like.
really a thing anymore.
It was.
But
it was. I'm thinking of our 14 Pros when we did this whole process. The 15 I did on my own, and I still had to wait for it.
Listen, man, if you like that workflow, I support you. I think that that's the most chaotic thing we've discussed this whole show.
I can't wait till the 16th.
There's no customers in a Best Buy, yet there are also no associates.
Nah, there's nobody.
It feels Best Buy is extremely disorganized. I don't really know what their core product
going down
is
the
anymore.
Circuit City
I don't know
route,
what
man.
it is they're trying to sell. It seems like it's a lot of like appliances / TVs and a couple of computers maybe. It was very weird to me. To provide a little context on this, I went to purchase a presentation like remote, like for a slideshow, like a little, keynote kind of deal,
like
a little clicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emily was doing a show, or Emily was doing a class, and she needed a little clicker. So I was like, okay, well, I looked on Amazon and it was 50% off.
Wow.
Not 50% off like a sale. It was 50% cheaper on Amazon than it was at the Best Buy. But the Best Buy had one in stock. And I know that Best Buy will do a price match for you if it, ships and sells from Amazon. They'll price match it. So I went into...
You did that? And what was that process like?
Oh, dude.
Oh, God.
No, yeah, it's not good. I know how it works because I've
That's
done that
interesting.
a
I'll
lot
put
at
a
Best
pin in
Buy.
that.
You go, when you go in, you go to like the customer service counter, you go straight there with the product and you ask if you can price match it. And then they basically
Can you
just,
pass that?
Of course.
they really try to battle you on
They
it.
being so polite.
In a weird, like it's odd to me that they put up such a fight to price match. It's
What
not
was
my,
the
it's
fight?
not my policy. It's their policy.
It's literally on the website.
Also, is it like coming? It's not coming out of your paycheck. Like it doesn't have. It's not hitting you. I can't imagine.
What were the hurdles? Because you literally show them this website has it.
Well,
can you?
Let me show you. Like you go in. I ask, do you guys price match? They go, well.
No, you do.
We price
It's right
match,
here.
Which is always the answer, though, anywhere.
We
because
price
there are
match-
conditions.
We
and-
price match with select retailers. And I go,
Okay, cool.
Well, you guys price match with Amazon. And they go, we price match with Amazon, but only if it ships and sells from Amazon. And I say, okay, that's great. I said, I have this here on my file. Like, you can take a look at it. I was like, this ships and sells from Amazon. And then obviously they won't trust my phone or my app. They got to pull it up on their phone. Well, they pull it up on their phone and like they can't believe it. And they're like,
now they got to share it with everybody.
they're
And you're
scrolling,
standing
they're
there
checking
like,
UPCs, product numbers, all this stuff. Then they call the manager. Oh my God. Then they call the manager over. They get the manager involved. The manager pulls it up on his phone.
He's not
They're looking at it,
technologically inclined
and
at
they're
all.
like, and they're like, well, this is maybe it has an S at the end of it. So maybe it's not the same. And then I was like, no, the one that we have here has an S at the end of it. Like it's the same thing. Like I promise. Like 20 minutes later, they finally are like, all right, fine.
we guess we got to do it.
We'll do it. And it's just like, guys, the amount of time and manpower required.
Oh, that's
like Best Buy spent more on like their hourly rate for employees.
For people to come over and look at the
just to
phone.
come over, than it did for the actual like just give me the discount. Like have the policy and just honor the policy. Don't make it a big thing. Or get rid of it. I don't mind. If you'd have said, hey, listen, like we don't honor Amazon, like that's fine. Great. I'm out. See ya. No big deal. I came in here because it's on your website. In either case. But I did see a PlayStation Portal. They had one in stock. It was locked in a cage. They didn't have one out that you could play, but I saw it in the cage.
I saw one at Target.
Like, oh my God.
And I was like, I did the same thing. I was like, should I just get this right now?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't justify it.
I know. You can, to be fair though, you can on eBay if you want if you're down with like a used one, they're like $140.
I know oh my God. You shouldn't have told me that.
They're selling for like $140, $150.
You should not have told me that. Next week I'll be here playing.
I'll take a used one. For
Oh,
$140.
what? Heck yeah.
Anyway.
Again, my only gripe with it doesn't have Bluetooth, but whatever.
Truly, that is the
Does it
biggest
have ports?
The biggest Achilles heel of that product. It does have an aux port, so you can plug headphones in directly if you want to, which is basically what everybody does. Because the headphones that Sony sells
Are another
that
$100
are comparable or that do work compatible rather, they're $200 baseline.
It stinks.
And they go up from there. So it literally costs you more to have headphones.
You can plug in auxiliary Bluetooth adapter and just kind of.
I don't even know that might work. I don't know if that would work. Maybe.
I mean, I have a Bluetooth adapter in my PS5. Yeah, I have one in my PS5.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And
but then you got a dongle on it.
True.
Yeah, I mean, that's no worse than a cable.
Yeah. All right. So Best Buy, wild times.
I was asking about your
close-up.
price matching experience because it's time to upgrade my kids' iPads, right?
Got you.
And I've been looking online.
Yeah.
And Best Buy has one, the 10th gen regular iPad for $269 on sale. And I was going to go price match at Target because Target it's kind of a better experience.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, Target sells phones also.
I just think
You want to try your next one at Target, maybe?
you should.
I've done that before.
Groceries and phones.
iPhone 8.
All right.
I did it right at Target.
I'm going to run through my watch list real quick.
Let's go.
Super fast because we're getting to the end of it.
We'll
also talk about this too real fast before we get out of here. But
you want to do this first? Let's do this first.
Yeah, let's do this first. Glenlivet 12, Illicit Still. What are your thoughts? You been fun
very
with it?
illi-
You've
very
been
illicit.
like deep in the Glenlivet thing over the last week.
Tell me,
How does this?
I have been
stack up?
celebratory. I'm going to justify my drinking with, turned 40 over the weekend, so I'll justify all of all the Glenlivet I've been drinking to old age. But
How does this stack up against the others that you've had?
I'll say I've had a favorite. My favorite drink, as far as like whiskeys, has never really jumped out of like Bullet, Green Spot. But then, we've had 82 different whiskeys on this show, and I still kind of have my benchmarks. I've never kind of like, this is good and all, but I'm still going to stick to. But Glenlivet has now kind of it's poaching my top tiers.
Your top spots.
Yeah.
Would you call it bright, vibrant gold?
The color, maybe? I wouldn't say in taste. It's a little drier than
Would you
the
say
others.
in taste it's rich with fruity notes of peaches and syrup, poached pears, and soft caramel?
I think the bite kind of takes that away. It does have a bit of a bite that the other 12 doesn't.
Which gets me to the finish. Would you say it's exceptionally long, sweet, and smooth?
Never mind, that was bad.
Yep. Make your own joke. Yep.
I think it's full. It does have more of a bite than the others that I've tasted. I don't think those flavor notes are.
They claim that the difference between this and the regular 12 year is that this has not been chill filtered.
I wouldn't say that those tasting notes are like incorrect.
No. I don't think they're incorrect. I think they're just kind of.
It does, as far as like scotches go, I do feel that it is a little bit on the lighter side. It does have a little bit of a brighter flavor profile to it. It does have a finish to it it's not super smooth that you might get with a little bit of a nicer scotch, or maybe some of the nicer Glenlivets. I think it, to your point, like it does finish
a little hard, a
little harsh.
Yeah.
But I do think I would put it in the bright category, and like that it color, I mean, vibrant gold and whatnot. Yeah, and that all checks out. But I do think it's a little bit lighter, and I guess bright is. I know that's a color description, but I'd probably.
I will say I enjoyed
in
it.
The flavor description.
I'm not saying that it's.
It doesn't sit as heavy.
No.
As a lot of scotches do. So.
I'm good.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I mean, it's not my favorite scotch.
I won't say I'll buy this one again. I've enjoyed other Glenlivets that have been better.
What was the price point on this?
This one was $71.
Okay.
Well, what was interesting, it was listed at $73, which brought it to $80, and then he gave me a 10% discount because I've been coming there.
God bless.
He was like, "I'll give you a discount."
Hell
and
yeah.
I was like,
we were getting into that.
And I was like, "Thanks." And I was like, "What's your name?" He was like, "TJ." And they're in the wine and spirits shop on Ricestown Road, right next to Lenny's Deli. Everyone, if you're from Baltimore, we all know about Lenny's Deli. So it's right there off of McDonough and Ricestown. So I told him I was going to shout him out.
Also have a great program where they hire individuals with a history and
did I say that on the show before?
Rehabilitate them.
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Ripe
They make great sandwiches in prison.
Vanilla fudge.
And they transfer that skill
Indeed
into the outside
There
world.
we are.
So shout out to Lenny's.
Lenny's.
I love a good.
All right. I'm going to run through my watch list real fast, Josh, if you don't mind, flipping back over.
Of course.
All right. On Netflix this week, I did Tires, which is
I saw that
Shane
and I
Gillis.
added it to my list. I'm ready for that. I'm ready to start.
So here's the thing. If you like
Is it
Shane
good?
Gillis, it's excellent.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's excellent.
Is it true to his humor?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Cool.
So you have to be into his genre of humor. If you are not into his genre, then it might be a bit of a miss for you. It's kind of, I compare it a little bit to like an Eastbound and Down, where, you know what I mean? Like you get it or you
gotta
don't.
be
you gotta be one way or the other. However, I do think for Netflix, it's a little bit of a sleeper show because I think it's very well made. I think the production on it is really good. They have some good characters and actors in it. It kind of feels like the early days of like The Office or something. Where again, it's like it's not all firing right away. Like I can see the opportunities.
You gotta kind of understand the scope of what's going on.
But I think it got renewed for another season. But I think you give it 2 or 3 seasons, and I think it could be a pretty big hit for Netflix. 20-minute episodes, 23-minute episodes. So
that's
shorter,
awesome. Yeah.
And there's 6, so it's easy to get through. HBO, The Jinx season 2. Don't know if you watched season 1. If you're a true crime,
I have not. I don't even know what The Jinx is.
If you're into true crime, The Jinx is
I love murder.
Definitely worth a watch. You're definitely going to want to start with season 1, not season 2. But it is a very compelling show. Robert Durst is the individual that it follows, who is a very, very wealthy real estate kind of, not really a mogul. His family, his father was, and he kind of inherited the business a little bit, but he has a pretty complicated past as it relates to murder. But it's excellent. It's very, very well done. Furiosa,
same director of All Good Things,
correct,
which is also Robert Durst. Yeah,
Robert Durst. Yeah, that's
Ryan Gosling, Kirsten Dunst. Yep.
Check us out. Furiosa, we talked about that. Went and saw that. High marks. Dark Matter, which is a new show on Apple TV.
Loving it.
Emily read the book.
Oh, she did.
Based on a book.
Okay. It does say based on a novel by.
Yeah, she loves the book. She's not stoked.
She's not
super
enjoying
stoked with the show. We're watching it though, getting through it.
I think some of the components sometimes lean a bit into the it's like this is the multiverse and like it's kind of very on the nose, but other than that, I think the concept of what's happening is very fun.
Compelling. It suffers from that whole like Apple TV quality thing. Like it just, you watch it, you can tell that it's an Apple TV show. There's just something about it that's off. It's not quite good.
It's like you're trying to fool me that this is super good.
Yeah. There's something weird about it. Like there's a lot of money behind it. Like it looks like an HBO show, but it's not an HBO show.
I was watching it and I was like, is this a British voiceover?
Yeah. Like, also, like the thing where all of like the notable actors are like sub characters in the series, which is like a super Apple thing to do. Where it's
Jennifer
like,
Connelly.
I know these guys, but they're not the main.
Not the main character.
They've got like a Gerard Butler knockoff as like the lead, not the dog, the guy, but he, it is what it is.
I've never seen him in anything. He's killing it though.
Yeah, he's okay. He's fine. He's not as compelling as the more known actors and actresses. No. Like they're better. Paramount Plus, South Park, The End of Obesity. New specialty. That was okay. I'd put it in the...
It's just all right.
70%, 75%.
We need range. South Park. We need The Simpsons. It's the animated satire of our lives. Yeah. At this point, it has to. It's a necessary thing.
I don't like the thing that South Park is doing where I feel like they just do specials now. I don't feel like they're doing like episodes anymore. At least that's what it seemed like. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's seasons. It's like there's just
the one
specials. Yeah, I don't know. I wish they would get back to the episodes. And then just a random movie that I watched was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which is a follow-up to
Ghostbusters,
the reboot. It is good. Right. It's great. I enjoyed it.
I know you would.
It is very fun to watch. It didn't get the best reviews or ratings, and I understand why. The villain that they spend a lot of time setting up, once he does finally arrive, really is only there for like 5 minutes. It's a really short window of time, so I feel like they really missed the boat on that. It's kind of like they never really had a third act or something. Like they set everything up and then just kind of, I don't know if they like ran out of money. They just kind of like ended it. So it just felt weird and short-lived, but I thought everybody did a good job in it. It was, again, it's fun to watch. If you like Ghostbusters.
Love Ghostbusters. And you wanna, just busy weekend, haven't been able to. It's queued up. Yeah. I got a few things queued up. Ghostbusters is one. And
for nostalgia's sake, give it a shot.
Even if I just play it in the background.
Yeah. It's fun.
For me, it's been a lot of the NBA playoffs. You know why, guys. As far as TV, X-Men 97 wrapped up last week. It's still sitting at 100% fresh. Rotten Tomatoes. It's been an amazing ride. It stays true to what they created back in the 90s with the show, and they just really expounded upon it and kind of made it more kind of like adult and streamlined with better quality, which has been just an awesome ride. Finished up Mark Twain Prize for Kevin Hart yesterday, which was actually pretty good. I'm a big fan of stand-up, so that was just good. It was just good to see kind of like. I think Kevin Hart gets a bad rap because he went like the hardcore Hollywood route, and kind of got watered down in a sense. But he did all of the hardcore stand-up work, which I respect. And he got recognized by, Chappelle, Seinfeld, Chris Rock. He got recognized by the GOATs. And, that kind of solidifies him as kind of one of them. And I thought that was dope. I watched Shayna Glazer's stand up over the weekend. After I saw her on Tom Brady's roast, I was like, all right, let me check this out. And she's good. Dark Matter. It is what it is. We kind of just talked about that. Finished Fallout. I think that is probably the best video game adaptation behind The Last of Us right now.
It's definitely the best thing that Amazon has done.
Oh,
yeah. And it's probably, to your point, The Last of Us probably has a little bit of a leg up on it, but it is fantastic.
Where else? What else we got? And HBO, I'm finishing up current season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. As you know, I'm a big Larry David. Again, people who have their foundations in stand-up, I'm a follow. And Larry David is he's just ridiculous. He's just so ridiculously good at that show. And so finishing that up. And I think that's it. I could kind of go through my Apple TV app and see what else I was watching, but
I think that does it, man.
I think that's pretty good. I think I did,
Coming to the end here.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 82.
And go O's. They're killing it right now.